Hi, this is Keith Stone, the optimistic quadriplegic, and this is going to be a series of videos about Meet the Griswolds. Who are the Griswolds? They're a group of my closest friends, and the golf trip that I got hurt on was with them. Although I don't blame you. Don't worry, Bob. And first up is Bob Chapman. I've known Bob since we moved into South Lyon in 1992, before Andy was born. His wife Julie actually babysat for us, for Andy, so 26 some years. The funny thing about Chappie is that he's got a guy. Every time in my videos you see a shirt that says Stone Strong or We're All In or the braces that Sarah showed, I've got hats. Chappie got those because he's got a guy. Even before we decided on the YouTube videos, I was going to do a book. Chappie knew a publisher. So we got a lot of advice from her, and I decided that was too much work, to be honest with you. So Chappie was not playing with me. He's not in my group that day.
One group in front of me.
One group in front of me. But what we traditionally do is and that 18th hole was our 36th hole of the day. And we traditionally kind of wait for all the groups to come in. There's 4 groups. We were in group 3. Chappie was in group 2. We were completely done. All groups have been in. And Chappie, you have to fill in the blanks. But what happened, as I've said before, I was driving the cart, heading to the parking lot to put our clubs away and go to dinner.
Correct.
And next thing I knew, I had hit a curb. And I think what happened is, as I was tipping over, I got ejected just enough so that the top of the cart came down on this side of my roof. I'm on my neck. The roof came down on my neck. So you're going to have to take it from there. I know you were there.
Yeah.
I remember you were being there. But you have to tell me what you saw and what happened.
So I'll take it from there. So at that point in time, we're all leaving from the green. Some people choose to walk. Some people choose to drive to the parking lot. There's 2 different ways you could go. We went the wrong way, basically. We went through the indoor. You were heading the other way. We all left to go to the parking lot. We waited in the parking lot, waiting for you and Gil. Gil was in my car, so I'm waiting for him to throw his clubs in. And it's been a few minutes, so I decide to head back up to park my cart. As I head up to park the cart, I see Joe Rowe. At this time, Joe Rowe is trying to get a hold of the rest of our friends. Joe Rowe is white as can be. I said, Joe, you look like you saw a ghost. And he said, one of our buddies is down. I said, who is it? And he says, it's Stoner. And he pointed as I'm coming up the drive, because I'm talking to him as I'm driving, and that's when I noticed you and Gil on the ground. So as I came up, left my car just right there and went over to help you, Gil was not doing well at the time either. You had told me you couldn't move, basically not to touch you.
That was huge. And we found out even more when we were talking to the doctor later. But I remember laying there on the grass. So it wasn't even on the cover, on the grass, and my arm was laying right in front of me. I could see it plain as day. And first thing I thought was, well, that's pretty stupid. Now get up, and did you do any damage to your clubs? That's what I was worried about, right? And then I went to move it, couldn't move it. Went to move my legs, couldn't move it. So, thankfully, I wasn't unconscious because I was able to yell. I can't move my arms or my legs. I can't move my arms or my legs. Later, we found out, my spine was broken at C4 and C5, which is very high. But I had a 360 pinch at C3, which controls breathing, respiration. So, had it happened, I was saying anything, a bunch of guys out on the golf trip and say, well, get up off your ass, and they'd roll me over or pull me up, and that could have really been bad. So I'm very thankful to God or to whoever did that for me that I was able to get that out. But after that, I don't remember anything until I woke up in the hospital. So that's what I'm counting on you for.
All right, so from that point on, you're on the ground, your legs are kind of in the driveway, your upper torso's on the grass, your lower body is in the basically the driveway at that point in time. Gil's next to you. Roe's trying to get a hold of people. I get a hold of Gil to get him away from you so he doesn't jostle you or whatever. I think, if I remember correctly, this is you telling us, don't move me, don't move me. And again, not sure where that information came from.
Yeah.
But I was trying to get Gil and get him away from me because he was pretty distraught at that time. At that point in time, it all kind of happened pretty quick between getting Gil away from you and the gentleman showing up that took control. When he got there, he said, I've got this, I'm in charge, this is what we're doing. And everything he said for everybody that showed up, he repeated that same thing. So it's pretty incredible, right? This is some guy that was a volunteer, was what I think we found out, correct?
Was he on the scene already? Or
He was on the scene within like minutes of me already talking to you. I'd already talked to Joe Rowe, who's literally off to my left. Gil is to my right. You're right in front of me. And I'm basically playing traffic
Do you
guard at
think
this time.
he came because of a 911 call or because he just happened to be there?
I think that he came from a 911, but
Okay.
happened to be close enough by.
Okay.
Whether he was on the grounds or not, I don't know. But he was there quick.
Okay.
Now, I also don't know the distance or the time frame from me going to my car, waiting for Gil. I'm not a patient person, so I can't imagine more than 5 minutes,
No.
right?
No.
So that's where that was at there.
Who were you riding with that day?
With Schmidt,
And was
Dave Smith.
did Smitty come back up with you? No, he said I'm gonna go eat.
He went to go eat.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I was returning the cart. I was waiting for Gil.
Okay. So when you got up there, it was just me, Gil, and you, and Joe
The
Rowe.
three of us, and then Joe Rowe was
Joe
off
Rowe.
to the side a little bit. Right. And
Okay.
then Mo came up, and then Pat Donovan came up.
Because they're dropping off their cars?
Correct.
Were they with you that day?
No.
Okay, I'll have to ask them.
I was with Patty Boy, and you're correct, that's right. Patty Boy, Pat Donnelly was in my foursome with Schmitty, but I don't. Oh, and I almost had it. I can't remember now. It was.
But not Mo.
No,
So Mo drove up by himself.
correct.
Okay, I'll have to ask him that. Okay, so now they get there, and now more emergency people are arriving on the scene.
Correct.
And what was that scene like? Like how many people? How many? Was it just one ambulance? Was it fire trucks? What showed up?
The emergency, their EMS, I think it is, the square car, the square, non-ambulance, and then an ambulance. And then in that time, not a volunteer, a part-time deputy showed up within that process also. So they kind of came in. First, the volunteer folks showed up, then the fire truck showed up, the cop showed up about the same time, and then the ambulance after that. In my memory, that's kind of the way the transition went.
Okay.
The one guy's got you on the ground. Some people come from Boyne itself to kind of help out, and the volunteer fireman is giving directions to everybody that shows up. So he had you ready to go. They brought a board over, cut your clothes away, did the whole board thing, and as that process is going on, there's a policeman trying to get your blood, or trying to get a breathalyzer out of you and or Gil at that time.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's where it got a little chaotic. And then so we kind of separated that. They got you stabilized, got you on the board, put you in an ambulance to take you. The policeman agreed to bring Steve Mormon, Mo, Pat Donnan, Patty Boy, in his car to the hospital. Gil and I went to my car and followed in my car.
So how did it just happen that you four decided to go to the hospital?
There was no way I wasn't going.
I knew you would, okay, so
Yeah.
you were already involved. And Gil was already involved, but how did Mo and Patty Boy?
Because they were there too, so it was just the five of us at this point in time. It
So
was
nobody else
Joe Rowe.
knew, Joe.
Joe
Joe
Rowe's
is
on
still
the
out
phone
there?
now. Joe is still out there. He's trying to call the rest of the gang. As the four of us are loading in, and Joe Rowe's making sure we're all safe to drive down to the hospital, she was going, ooh. And that,
Okay,
so the five of us were the five that were there on the scene.
okay. So, let's take a break, and then we're going to do a quick part two about what happened at the hospital.